Okay, so let's call a meeting to order. Taking it from the top, we have some minutes from the last meeting. Everybody got a chance to
Move to
review them?
accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Either one. You can do that.
Everybody look them over? No comments? All in favor?
Aye.
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 These are
Okay,
the minutes of March 3rd. To clarify.
thank you, yep. Okay. Joyce, how are things going? Health agents report.
Good. I've been to 2 different trainings in the last 2 weeks for DEP for all the ADU stuff that's coming down the pike. I've been reviewing our regulations as well as what's being sort of guidelines that are being pointed out that are already existent in Title V to give us guidance on how to handle these. We're definitely seeing an uptick in the amount of submissions. And as part of, we brought the fee schedule that we went over the last time. And the only thing I would like to add to it is a review fee, because right now we don't have one for all of these ADUs that are coming in to review plans, to make sure that they're in compliance with, what's required. I think like a $50 or $75 fee is reasonable. So I would like to have that added as part of the fee schedule that we did last week. We have had one issue with an installer who decided to not call me back to do a D-box inspection after I specifically told them to, and they didn't have water on site. It was kind of a crappy day, and so I've spoken with the engineer who did the plans. I've spoken with the business owner. I'm not issuing the COC until that test is done. So that was a cause for me to writing up a sheet of regulations that, pertain to what you guys have set forth for required inspections. And everybody will now get a handout with their installer's permit as well as the disposal construction permit. Period. There's no excuse for it, and we sign off on this stuff. I know that I'm not legally responsible for somebody's design, but it is my responsibility as a health agent to make sure that a town resident is getting what they paid for, that their system actually operates correctly, at least on the day that I inspected it. So that's how I'm going to avoid these kinds of issues in the future. But have it be known that I was very clear with the people working on site, and they have my cell phone number to call me when they were ready and chose not to. We've also we'll be doing the truck inspections for the Food Truck Association. That's on this coming Tuesday. Next Tuesday, sorry. I believe next Tuesday I'll be going, and I think we're up to like 15 or 16 trucks. So again, we had some last minute stragglers who, even though we sent out an email in January, still didn't manage to get their paperwork in on time. So given with the uptick in septics, ADUs, and just overall things that are being required, I have a bunch of housing inspections that I've gotten calls for. Rooster complaints is up. I will be scheduling 2 truck inspections, one on a Tuesday, so there'll be a late evening appointments, like the last one will be 5 o'clock. And then I'll do one other day of the week that will be morning appointments, and that will happen twice a month. So every 2 weeks, there'll be 2 days people can pick from. To try and accommodate everybody's schedule, but I can't be everywhere all the time. So that seems like the most sensible way to do it is just schedule it in. I think that's pretty much it for me. The rooster thing, I think at some point, this is probably going to be something that needs to be readdressed. we have things in place that say 9 PM to 6 AM, and I'm getting calls, people are letting chickens apparently just wander free, which is amazing. I'm surprised they haven't become some coyotes dinner. I'm sure that will be happening, but we've had I've gotten 2 complaints, 2 different neighborhoods in the last 4 days. So I think with the nicer weather, we're gonna see an increase in these issues, along with the fact that egg prices, so I think we're also gonna see a lot of people wanting to get coops. And I think that we just really need to be careful about how we do this going forward, so we don't make the whole avian flu thing worse by having people just have their birds roaming around. So at some point, I may have a conversation with the agricultural committee to see if they want to readdress their concerns with the whole rooster issue. But for right now, it just stands that they will be getting nuisance letters, and if the issue doesn't get fixed, request a hearing with the health department, the Board of Health, and you guys can decide how you want to handle it going forward. So that's where we're at. That's pretty much all I have for the report. And
Now, on that septic inspection, somebody missed out. Did they cover it all up?
what
Or
happened
just-
was that it was a D-box and a field replacement.
Okay,
Because of where it is, the system, they had to dig out a whole bunch of stuff and do a replace, but it's still it was risers on the D-box, which are higher than my head, so I can't see in the D-box. So they
Yes,
didn't
sir.
call me before they put the risers on, which would have been the sensible thing to do. But be that as it may, I said to them, go ahead, I've seen the field, backfill the field till you get a base that I can stand on. Oh, and they didn't have any water on the grounds. Call me when you have water and it's filled in that I can see, and we will do the D-box then. It's not optimal, but I will make it work. 2 days later, because they said, oh, we have some material to move off site. Okay, I get it. And it was really not good weather, so, and it was towards the end of the day, like, I think it was around 1 o'clock, and they still had stuff to do, and I said, no problem, I'll be available, just call me, I'll come right down. That was, I believe, on a Monday. I was off at that training on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, still no call. I called Thursday and got an earful from the receptionist, who proceeded to tell me that her guys know what they're doing. I said, well, apparently not, because it clearly states that you're to have water on site. And I told them exactly what I wanted, and they have my phone number in their phone. So I said, well, you guys can call me when you want to meet me out there and pull the cover off. And then I will give you the COC.
so they backfilled around it, but they.
Yep,
weren't
they
gonna
have,
do
but
it.
no, he said they graded over. I said, well, you'll have to dig it up.
Hmm.
So,
Okay, okay.
and it's somebody that doesn't normally, I haven't had in the 2 years I've been here, it's somebody that does more work in Plymouth, so I don't know if perhaps, they don't have the same inspection schedules we do. I don't know. I don't care. That's what our regs say. And they were told that on the day that they picked up the construction permit,
Okay.
as well as in the field.
Anybody else have any other questions on this?
Mhm.
Okay,
Out of curiosity, how much extra work did this result in you doing?
What, me?
Yeah,
I gotta go out and watch them pour water in a hole. Do you mean, it's my job. That's.
no, I know that, but when somebody screws up like
Yeah,
that.
it's a
it-
pain in the
it
butt
put-
because it
puts a
could've-
lot of extra work on your plate.
No, I still would have had to go back to do the
Right.
D-box. That's neither here nor there. It's just the,
All right.
Principal.
they actually put more work on their own plate.
Yeah.
They said-
Oh, yeah, they
Well, they gotta
have to-
dig it.
it's probably 12 inches under the cap, the riser top is under the soil, so they're just gonna have to hand dig the soil.
You know, it's the old
It's not
question,
my
if you don't have
fault.
enough time to do it right, do you have enough time to do it over?
Right, well, apparently they do, but it's been a week and I haven't heard anything, so. my next thing is I will give them one more call. Spoke with the engineer. I'll be calling him again and then I'm gonna call the homeowner.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but.
No, hopefully it doesn't, but they also have a right to know that they're not supposed to be using the system until it's inspected.
I understand. The other thing I was gonna ask you about, the grant meeting. How did that go?
Oh,
You
fine.
didn't mention it. You didn't say anything. So I just-
You know, there isn't much to report in the sense of, we met with the person from the state that kind of helps Linda out, and she went over their favorite words, supplanting, of funds and stuff. It was a very long meeting with not a lot of information to give you. On a positive note, we will be doing, CPR classes. We'll be doing those this coming Monday, a week from today. And then going forward, we'll be completing, some of us will be completing the instructor class, which then will allow us to, as the health department, provide those classes as well as another means of providing a service for people in the town, especially businesses that require choke save or serve save or CPR.
Is Barry Clarkman still the chairman of them? Yes, okay.
Yes, he
And
is.
What about the vice? Is that Karen? still?
Yep, still Karen.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep,
And everybody else has been attending the meetings, everything's going along okay?
yeah, I mean, you know, I would say that the majority of the meeting is spent on sort of housekeeping stuff. And then, you know, we are looking at trying to hire a new grant nurse, so we've changed it from 2 part-time to, it's gone through a number of iterations. So now we're looking for 1 full-time nurse to be the grant nurse to work for all 6 towns, or whichever towns of 6 want the help. So we'll see. That went through its last process of job description review, and so we'll see if we get any bites. Because up till this point, we haven't been very successful. They've increased the salary.
Is that why they combined the 2 positions?
Yeah,
Because
so
they
we're
couldn't
doing 1
increase it, so-
full-time at a higher rate. That's hopefully going to get a qualified, good candidate.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So,
That makes sense.
well, that was my thought.
Okay. What else we got going on?
So again, the only other thing that I had on my report that, you know, I'd like you guys to review is the ADU review thing to add to our list that you guys, I believe, have in there that you guys voted on this time.
Okay,
So that's it for me.
what about, you're gonna pass around the new fee schedule? Or is that?
I think
already
she put it,
decided?
That's right there in front of you.
but, oh yeah, no, but you didn't put it in there.
Yeah, I have it in my, this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I redid it, I think that was
So
the
you
last
can
week.
I,
Laurie, you didn't give them.
Only had the one to sign,
and then
You
you
think
just have to
that might have
add
been from the
ADU
last
one
Yeah,
one.
that was the last one.
Yeah.
But did anything change?
no, I just add the yellow parts, I just kind of,
Oh, took those up.
I made
highlighted.
them like in capitals.
Oh,
So it's nothing major,
All right.
sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah.
I have a question. So
Sure.
when you get a complaint on the roosters or any foul
anything.
roaming or anything, do you, let them be aware that there are the regulations?
Oh, yeah, so first thing we do is take all the information. Joe and I, the animal control officer, going out to 2 different locations tomorrow. We'll attempt to have a conversation with the homeowner, whoever the owner of the fowl is. In that conversation, I will be hand delivering to them a copy of the regulations with some helpful resources as far as like MDR and there's a backyard poultry association that provides some pretty helpful guidelines. And just explain that if the complaints continue, they'll have to come from front of the board because it's now considered a noise nuisance. The thing can't be, you know,
Just wondering
when
how
it's
that
one
all
person
plays out.
complaining, usually it's a tit for tat situation. When I've got an entire neighborhood, like 4 or 5 different people calling, there's an issue. So we're just gonna go out and hopefully have a conversation. If the person isn't there, we'll leave I'll leave envelope with a letter. We're already written a letter, in case they're not there, so that we can get in touch with them.
Okay. Does anybody have any new business to bring up this?
What about the discussion of the ADU septic plan review fee?
Well, that's what Jess was just talking about.
Yes, but we have to establish a fee
That would be terrific.
Well, Joyce,
if
Yes.
we want.
have you looked into this at all?
What do you mean, have I looked into it?
Do you know, what anyone else is,
Nope.
no, okay.
Because I think it's so new, like literally the last 2 weeks I have been at DEP training. And I think part of the issue is the state in its infinite wisdom passed this ADU thing without getting everybody else on board and having all the parameters in place before we okayed it. And so it's the wild, wild west, and everybody is trying to jam everything through to think that I can get it through before all the DEP stuff comes out, which, to me, Title V is pretty clear. If it's non-conforming, you increase the flow, it has to be conforming. So there's no wiggle room in my mind.
Do you wanna, put on the agenda for next meeting?
It's up to you guys. I mean,
Well, I don't want to take a dartboard fee.
well, that's why I said,
I'm not
I think
gonna have any
$50
more
to
trouble.
$75 is reasonable. It's at least an hour of my time to go into all the folders, try and find if they can find. I had a system from 67. You know what's in the folder? Pretty much nothing. So, that takes time to go and look at and see what the plans are that we may or may not have. Go through whatever the engineer gives me to make sure it's compliant. And depending on who the engineer is, some plans take more than others to make sure that they're actually correct. And then also consulting with building to make sure that what they want to do, that's gone through building as well. We had a case that I signed off on in the late fall, probably in November, December. Oh, I'm gonna put an office of finished space in my garage. Well, lo and behold, talked to the engineer, now it's gonna be an ADU. So I had to go into the building department and tell them I'm pulling my signature because the project that they're now doing is not what I signed off on. I only became aware of this because an engineer had questions. And so this is the kind of thing that's happening. And we're also gonna start to see people saying, well, I'm gonna turn one bedroom into a den. I don't think people understand that Title V doesn't work that way. And you can call it whatever you want. If it can be made a bedroom, it counts as a bedroom.
I'm with Dennis. I think maybe you could look into it a little deeper and give a little bit more thought to how much time you might have to put into this, and then make another recommendation at the next meeting. I think that.
You don't want
I
to be
agree
too
with
high or
Dennis.
too low.
Right, well, I mean, I don't think it should be astronomical because chances are they're going to have to do, most everybody is gonna have to put in a new system. That's why I think that the fee should be on the lower end. I don't think we should be, making it unattainable.
Right.
So, and the other issue is going to be that the board, I think, just to make the board aware that the septic betterment loan does not apply for this. It cannot be used to,
Why?
because the septic betterment loan is only to repair or replace an existing system. If there's any upgrade or increase in flow, it no longer
Oh,
meets.
yes, didn't we?
Yes, don't
went
we
through this
remember
with
that?
some-
Yeah, so that there'll be none of
Changes
that.
it.
That is, it's not what it's for,
Okay,
and so
Okay.
I'm just having that put out there now so that there's no question, there's no more funny business or people,
Well, before you go too far down that road, if this entire system needs to be replaced,
correct.
okay. But if it's a simple upgrade of the system.
Well,
for you-
the problem is if If you have a house
Yeah,
that does not meet Title V currently, doesn't meet the 95 standards, but the system is functioning, there's no issue, and you do nothing to it, let's say you had a system that could support 4 bedrooms, but you only have 3, and you want to add a room or over your garage. And so even with the addition of that bedroom, there is technically no increase in flow because your system already meets that.
designed for that.
Not an issue. The minute you increase the flow or change it, the whole system has to be brought into compliance. So if it's you as the homeowner who the system goes into failure, yes, it qualifies. So let's say that you had a 2-bedroom house and maybe your system's super old and it has cesspools
Yes, as
or
soon
pits. And so that no longer conforms, but you would be required to make it an 800 square foot field. So that's overkill for the amount of bedrooms you have, but you're still required to do it because that's what the town requires. That too would qualify for betterment. If you are putting an ADU on, it does not qualify for betterment. Because it is above and beyond what you have there, and it is not, you are not doing this out of necessity, you're doing this because you want to add value to your property and you want to add more flow, which is fine. It just doesn't qualify for the septic betterment code.
Yeah, key thing is you're exceeding the design capacity of your system. To whatever addition at that point, all this other stuff kicks in.
No, it's a repair and replace only for what is there, period. So again, if you already had a system that's designed for 3 bedrooms, that's what you will get. If you were to add a 4th bedroom, you can't use the betterment.
Understand?
Okay,
Just want to make sure everybody's clear, so I don't. I want to avoid any problems before they arise. Just easier. So I think having people be mad. Okay.
anybody have anything else?
No?
Anything to go over again on old business, everything's fine? Nothing else?
Well, the only thing that we didn't do was the regulations that we were kind of,
I think that's one of those things everybody's gotta be.
everybody's gotta be.
Make a motion to adjourn.
How's that going on budget?
What's that?
On budget?
Good, we're conservative, fiscally conservative. I'm not spending things I don't need to spend it on. As we get closer to the June, I will look at anything that needs to be replaced that I'm, like, Rory's printer, if that needs to be, I'm just picking things that pop in my head, or, equipment that we might need for the field, that kind of thing. But I would rather wait till we get closer to the end rather than spend money and not have it if we need it. If something
For something
big
else.
was to come along, I'd rather be a little more fiscally conservative until we get to the 4th quarter.
I think everybody on the board's aware that the grant committee meetings are bounced around from town to town to town.
Yep.
Hosting those particular meetings. What I'd like you to do, let us know when the next one or when they are here, in case anybody wants to sit on them. That's all.
God bless.
Hmm?
God bless.
I didn't get you. What did you say?
God bless.
God bless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
That's
you
a-
want to
that's a
sit
good
on.
way to
If
go.
you're
Okay.
a blood for punishment, you're
certainly
welcome
got
to
that.
attend.
But you never know, somebody might be interested.
We'll go with that.
When is your hosting?
Not for a while.
Okay,
Yeah, I think the next. I would love to tell you, but now I can't remember.
It's okay.
I think it might be Halifax, but I'm not sure. Want to see, I can't.
I'm just saying, if somebody here wanted to,
Yeah,
they should know.
well, and they always post it on, it's always posted on Plymouth's website because they are the host community. But we also post it on our website too.
Laurie, do you have the members of the board on a group email?
Yeah,
Yes.
So anytime there's a But if you want this in Kingston, could you just let everybody know?
Yeah.
Would that
So
be
it's like,
okay?
it'll be every 6 months, basically.
Just all, you think of it.
Oh, we
Just a
can do
courtesy.
that. It's not a problem.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
The next
There's no other
meeting?
business.
Next meeting is April 7.
Ooh.
Second your motion. To adjourn.
Second to the adjourn?
Yes.
Sorry. All in favor?
Leave.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.